In this week's parasha of Vayikra, we start off with the various korbanot and the offerings that are given, and there's a whole range of offerings that are given for all sorts of different circumstances. And the Maggid of Dubno has a very interesting comment on the first one, which is the bull. A bull can be offered as a free will offering, and the expression that's used when speaking about this bull is v'shachatet ben habakar lifnei Adonai v'ikrivu v'nei Aaron hakohanim et adam, and this bull will be shechted before Hashem, and the sons of Aaron, the kohanim, will bring the different parts of the offering. It goes into exactly the process of how it's given. But the Maggid of Dubno says we would expect the word hakravah, korban, bringing close, to feature more prominently. Why does it tell us about killing the animal? It should tell us about bringing the animal. And so he says something interesting, particularly about the bull as opposed to the other offerings. You see, the bull is the most expensive offering, and we would think, therefore, that it is superior, that it is more of a sign of dedication to Hashem than the cheaper offerings such as sheep, goats, etc. And the Maggid says, he explains it as he loves to do with a story, that you have a very wealthy employer who employs people to transport some incredibly valuable items, millions and millions of rands. And they take this and they make a massive mistake. Whatever it is they do wrong, the entire cargo is lost or destroyed. Millions of rands up in smoke. So these people come, these employees come back to their employer, and they're sorry and they're apologetic and they never meant it and everything. He says, well, you're going to have to pay me back. They say, but we can't afford to pay you back. So he says, okay, so you know what? Pay me back 1% of what you've destroyed. So they say, you know, that's what you're saying is very kind, but we can't afford even the 1%. He says, okay, so we'll put it on terms. Right, we'll pay it off slowly. Every week you'll pay me 1,000 rand. And over the course of a few years, you'll manage to pay off that 1%. And they agree and they accept it. And there's one person who has a lot of commitments and a difficult time, and he comes to the employer after a couple of weeks and he says, sir, I just can't manage the 1,000 rand. I really want to make it. Could I put in 800 rand a week? Boss says, no problem, absolutely, thank you for coming to see me. Very nice to the guy, sees him out. Second man is somebody who doesn't have many other financial commitments. So, every week he actually has a little bit of money left over. So he saunters into the boss's office, big smile on his face, puts down, he says, you know what, I'm going to pay you extra, puts down 1,200 rand, smiles, and walks out. The boss is very upset with him. So the assistant says, what's going on? The guy pays less, you're happy. The guy pays more, you're not happy. He says, the point isn't the money. They're not doing me a favor. At the end of the day, what are they paying? They're paying off 1%. They're not recompensing me for the loss. The entire purpose of this exercise is so that they will take to heart the value of what they're dealing with. The point isn't whether they're paying me back or not. The point is, do they understand their responsibility? Do they feel the weight of what they're doing? He says the person who's paying less, but he really means it, and he's sacrificing for it, and he's learning the lesson that I want him to learn. That he was careless and it was a problem, and this is something valuable that I've given him to take care of. He says, the second guy, he thinks he's doing me a favor. Yeah, he thinks he's paying me money. I don't need his money. Right? And so he hasn't learned the lesson of responsibility because, something else happened, so he'll do it again. And the Maggid says that's a message with the sacrifices. The korbanot, it's not a question of a magical way to fix what we've done wrong. Somebody does something wrong. Okay, so I'll bring a korban. Right? I'll pay Hashem back for what I did wrong. It doesn't work like that. There's not enough money in the world to compensate for one Vayikra. Right? There's not enough money in the world to pay for one mitzvah. Not enough money in the world to compensate for what a person does wrong. The point of the korban is not that now you're paying Hashem back. You're not giving Hashem anything. The point is that by imposing that korban, a person takes responsibility for his actions and for what he's done. And so the Maggid says sometimes when it comes to the most expensive offering, there's the danger of us thinking that we're doing God the favor. Well, then it's just shachata ben abakar. Then all you're doing is killing an animal. That's not hikriv. To bring a korban, to bring something that brings you close to Hashem, that's something with a real understanding that I'm offering of myself for Hashem, but I'm not giving, so to speak, to Him. And that, in fact, is what the Maharal of Prague says was the mistake that Bilam makes. If you look in the Torah, Parshat Balak, when Bilam wants to curse the Jewish people, so he and Balak go up to the top of the mountain and they build these altars and they start giving sacrifices. The Midrash says that Bilam says to Hashem, Hashem, you choosing these Jewish people, they don't offer you such lack of sacrifices. I will give you fantastic sacrifices. He says thousands and thousands of animals. Hashem says, what? You think I need sacrifices? You think I'm short on sheep and goats? You think you're doing me a favor? You're giving me something. In fact, the Maharal says that is why the greatest name of Hashem, the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey, is used exclusively when it comes to the Korbanot. Many other places in the Torah we have different names of Hashem for the different ways in which Hashem is manifest in this world. But this four-letter name of Hashem, which shows the complete mastery of Hashem, the completeness of Hashem, that it shows you in itself that you're not giving anything to Hashem. Right? Because the name that's consistently used emphasizes for us that Hashem lacks nothing, that Hashem wants for nothing, and therefore the point of the Korbanot is not that we're giving something to Hashem. And so the point of the Korbanot, the point of Judaism generally is not to do Hashem a favor. Right? We're not doing Hashem favors over here. We have been given this unique privilege and responsibility and this incredible power in the world. And we need to know that whatever decisions we make are powerful decisions. The good decisions we make change and affect the world in a powerfully good way. And the negative decisions affect the world powerfully for bad also, God forbid. And that's the idea that the Maggid is making over here. That sometimes more is less. Sometimes the more you do and you feel like you're doing Hashem the favor, okay, so I sinned so, but I brought the Korban. That's not what it's about. It's about the internal change. It's about the internal process. It's about realizing what you can do, your power for good and for evil, and directing it towards good, towards Hashem, towards holiness, towards building the world. Shabbat Shalom.